Well, hi there, beach friends. I hope you're ready to spend some pretty fantastic time at a beach looking for beach treasures, because that's exactly what I have in store for us today. We are going to be checking out Dickman's Island, which is just south of Marco Island, and we're going to be shelling like it's winter. All right, maybe not winter, but the shells were awesome. So much better than I really expected. So we're going to check out Dickman's Island, have ourselves a fantastic time. And if you're ready for some salty adventureness, let's go to the beach. Okay, we're over here on Dickman's Island. You do need the kayak here. I came with SWFL Shell Guide. Her and I become kind of chummy these last couple years, and so I will sometimes hitchhike a ride with her. And as we're making our way to the Gulf, we did stop in this tide pool, and there was a little crown conch. Those crown conchs do like the slimy, muddy kind of area, so not terribly surprising that you'd find them in the slimy, muddy area. Oh, look at those gorgeous clouds. So we do have a little bit of a storm kind of pushing through. Wow, that was pretty. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, a little bit of a spoiler alert. The storms will be looming. We will not need to leave. So we are going to stay here the entire time, combing through low tide. I'll talk about low tide in just a minute. But for now, let's really concentrate on what we're finding here. Okay, so definitely Sunray Venus clams, terrific. And a giant Atlantic cockle. That's probably one I will leave here. But I do suspect there's going to be a couple of keepers as we kind of explore the beach here. So here is a calico scallop. This is a little unusual. This one has a little bit of yellow. That is not a tone I would normally find with those calico scallops. Absolutely gorgeous. And a lettered olive. Oh, it's big and fat and shiny and pointy. It checks all the boxes off. Fantastic lettered olive. Oh, look at this gorgeous shell. So this is a lace murex, and it happens to be very lacy. The edges of it just look, oh, it's so pretty. So that is a lace murex, and that is definitely coming home with me. It's so pretty. So it was threatening, this storm that is behind us, but for whatever reason, it did manage to kind of stay offshore. You can kind of see that it is raining there. So it's only really to the north of us. It's looking pretty much okay to the south. So I am, keeping an eye. As it turns out, we're going to be just fine. Another fat, gorgeous lettered olive. Yep, fantastic find. Oh, and this is a pen shell. I am looking for an amber pen shell, but I suspect that this is probably just one of those half-naked pen shells. There are a couple different kinds. The amber pen shell is one I have not found yet, so I am still kind of hunting for that pen shell. Pretty prickly cockle. Oh, that's a great example. It's nice and prickly on the outside, gorgeous color on the inside. Love me a good prickly cockle. Beautiful calico scallop. Nice, rich, deep colors. You never know. Could be almost completely white, could be pinks. Nice variety in those calico scallops. And I'm hoping we're going to find a nice variety of beach treasures. Oh, yes, I have not found these in a while. So this is a 5-hole keyhole sand dollar. It is a very flat urchin. They do look different depending on what part of the country you happen to find them in, but the ones down here look pretty much like that. And a lightning whelk. Okay, it is a lightning whelk. I got a little less excited once I saw the condition of it. There's one that's a little bit better. Here we go. Probably hold on to that one. And another. Yeah, definitely looks like a keeper to me. Another fine lightning whelk. Awesome. And another. Hey, if they're here, I'm going to go ahead and collect them. Another night. All right, a little green, nothing a little bleach won't take care of, but another fantastic lightning whelk. And another. Yeah, and another. Terrific. Oh, nice rich color on that. Woohoo! So this is really pretty good. I mean, from a species standpoint, finding lots of shells. This is a horse conch. And it is a little pitted. It definitely has been hanging out here at the beach for a while, but I still think there's just kind of something real pretty about it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that too. Whoa. All right, not quite as big as I thought it was, but that is a pretty big banded tulip. So the banded tulips get about 4 inches. The true tulips do get bigger. But from a size standpoint, that particular banded tulip, that's a pretty big shell. Pretty excited. So, okay, I see a couple different things, and so I'm getting, I don't know where to go. I'm like, okay, there's a shell there, a sand dollar there. All right, we're going to start with the cone. So I was able to make a decision. I went for the Florida cone. It's in, it's in pretty good condition. It's got its little top. And then I did see a bunch of the sand dollars. So, okay, fine. I'll go back for those. And it's kind of nice because it's not crowded and I don't have a lot of people around me. So I don't need to really worry about, somebody grabbing something that I got to see. So I do love this time of year. It is a lot more slower. It's a little slower in the shell department too, but you do have a lot more of a chance to kind of be by yourself as you're out collecting these gorgeous treasures. So we got myself a bunch of those really great 5-hole keyhole sand dollars. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so I was caught a little by surprise. Here we have a banded tulip. Great, it's a little chipped, cool, I've seen those a million times. Don't really want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is this shell. Because I thought at first, oh look, it looks a little different. It looks like a kind of a bendy Florida fighting conch. I think that might be a milk conch. I've never found one before, but after coming home and kind of looking through my shell book, I think maybe that is a milk conch. So that's a little more exciting than just our regular fighting conchs, which I like a lot. Don't get me wrong. I also like these. This is a little calico scallop. Beautiful little orange calico scallop. And we have a piece of color. Love that. Reveals this gorgeous nutmeg just kind of sitting there below the surface of the sand. So that is a really great looking, it's a perfect looking nutmeg. And here we have, as far as I'm concerned, a perfect looking sand dollar. So that is another one of those 5-hole keyhole sand dollars. It's in great shape. And I do have a little hard container that I keep in my shell bag. And that's what I'm putting all these rather delicate materials in. Now, speaking of delicate materials, this one was kind of exciting and a bummer all at the same time because it is a massive angel wing. But it's broken, and so it just breaks my heart. It's so big. I can't imagine how long that animal worked and grew to create this shell, and it's got a little piece in it, like a little piece missing, but I'm going to keep it anyway. I just can't help it. I'm not going to be able to leave that, so I'm going to go ahead and collect that angel wing. So I am keeping an eye on the weather. We know we're going to be fine, but I do love admiring the summer clouds. So pretty. Here we have another very pretty calico scallop with that lovely like orange burst kind of pattern. That is another and a third calico scallop. So those are all the calico scallops. Anybody else hiding here? It's a bunch of real pretty purpley. I like that one the best. Purpley calico scallops. That is a bay scallop. Now I just finished answering a question about calico and bay scallops. The bay scallops are going to be that orange, that red, sometimes white. So from a differentiation standpoint, it's all about the color. It's for as far as I can tell. And the augers, I do tell you to be really careful because they can have critters hidden in there. And looky here, There is an itty bitty tiny little hermit crab inside of that auger. So I'm going to leave that shell here at the beach. I go by a very strict finders keepers policy. If the inhabitant is not done with the shell, it stays at the beach. And that is a bummer because that is a piece of an alphabet cone. And I really would have loved to have found the whole thing, but that's okay. And that is another bummer. That is a piece of a flat scallop. So those are also really exciting to find, but they're here. So it does mean that possibly we would find an entire piece. That is another one of the calico scallops of the orange variety. Really pretty, nice orange color on that calico scallop. And here's some more. And that one, I happen to like that one with all the beach stuff on it. So I am definitely going to bring that home. And then the other one. So some more real pretty calico scallops. So there's that storm in the background looming, but I'm really kind of focusing my attention on all the goodies we got here on the beach. Now let's talk about the tide. The tide was going to be actually negative at 4:51. At the point where I shot this particular shot, it is 4:22. So it is almost as low as it's going to be. We actually got really lucky with a negative low tide today, but this service on the island is not great, so I can't continually check it for you. So just keep in the back of your head that it is a little bit of a low, actually it's a pretty good low tide. So because it is a pretty good low tide, we get to find things that are a little bit more buried, a lot more of the beach is exposed. This is an angel wing. This is another angel wing. It's got all sorts of beach stuff on it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to clean up okay. So at the end of the video, we'll take a peek at that. I am going to try to clean that up. Check this out. So I believe this is a cancelet simile. I don't think I've ever actually found one, or if I have, it's only been one or two of them. Super duper cool simile. Here we have a little olive, and it's just shaped real weird. Kind of looks like a peanut. Like it's just like squat little thing. Still kind of neat, but that is indeed a lettered olive. Water is nice and clear, and you can kind of tell that typically we're in the low tide kind of area because there's so much green stuff. So green stuff likes to grow in this area. Go ahead and snag another one of those calico scallops. Another beautiful one. So just kind of meandering along. It is really relaxing to just kind of walk along. Although, and then once in a while, there'll be something really kind of exciting. That's a broad rib cardita. I don't know that I'd necessarily say it was exciting. That I thought was a piece of an alphabet cone, which frankly would be exciting. So here we go. This is, is one of my most favorite shells. This one's pretty good. It's an okay fighting conch. So that is a decent looking Florida fighting conch. Oh, another one of those scallops. It's been a great day for scallops. And this one does look like, yep, a little bit darker than I normally find. Just kind of funny. That's got a little bit more black in it. Still super cool. Super cool calico scallop. Now this also has its black on it. This is a ponderous arc. And it is hinged. It is still connected at the hinge. And it's got lots of that black periostracum on it. So I thought that was kind of neat. I'm going to hold on to that. So the storm is still in the background, but it is not really bothering us much. Oh, heartbreaker. So that's a moon snail that's just been here too long. I wish we had met sooner. So this is probably just about as low as the tide is going to get. Yay! All right, we have another one of those common nutmegs. Fantastic little find, and it's big. That is a big nutmeg. Wonderful. Okay, so this is an arc. It is one of the more common shells that you would find down here. I just happen to like the cut-ribbed arcs. That's what this one is called. And this one is a little more unusual because it looks like it had a growth spurt at some point. So shells do grow, continue to grow every year. And sometimes if they have a year where they got to eat a lot or not so much. You can tell by the way that their shell was created. So I am going to hold on to that shell. And this is just the top of a lightning whelk. And I was actually not going to keep it. And I heard you all yelling at me all the way to the beach. So I did hold on to that piece of a lightning whelk. And here I'm going to call this the Sunray Venus Garden, because there are just the Sunray Venus clams all over the place. And I really, really do like them. So I'm trying hard not to pick up billions of them. We'll just be a little conservative and just pick up the super pretty ones. Now in this shot, I wanted you to see there's only a piece exposed. There it is. So that is there was just a piece of the lettered olive. They do have a certain really kind of look, those kind of darker bands and the lighter ones. So even when they're half buried, you can kind of tell what's there. Ah, drat. So that is just a piece of an alphabet cone. So about this point, I really kind of got a hankering to find a whole one. All right, here is another auger. That is not an alphabet cone, but that's okay. I'm giving it a second just to make sure that there's no critters in there. So as far as I can tell, we got ourselves a safe auger. Yep, so I will make sure that the shells are empty before I collect them. This is a juvenile fighting conch, and I thought that was neat. That little round spot there, it is, I think if somebody tried to start drilling on the shell, didn't get very far, but there is a little tiny indentation of where that little white circle was. Alrighty, real pretty looking apple murex. I'm already on to something else. Okay, I saw that moon snail. Yeah, it's a little bit not in great shape. That is a pear whelk. It's quite washed out in color, but still kind of cool. All sorts. So the beach changed a little bit. Here we have a lot more crushed up pieces. There is another little lettered olive. A little top snail. Oh, cool. That is a Gulf oyster drill. Luckily that is in good shape so I can tell. Usually, I'm going to be honest, I can't. Those I have a very hard time IDing, but that was in good shape, so we knew. And a slipper. So lots of great little, like, nice variety and other little pieces of shells here. Yep, there is another of those fighting conchs. Of course, it's gorgeous. I see a piece of a banded tulip. Yep, this little piece of pink. There's another dark seraph. So they're great variety. And so this is August, which is typically not a great time to find shells down here in Southwest Florida. You're gonna have a much easier time in the winter. That is a little horse conch, and this is a little auger. So that's why I kind of said in the beginning, I feel like it's winter. Like there's so many shells, such a great variety of shells. That's just a broken little nutmeg. And I didn't give you a chance, so that is a piece of a tulip. So I guess keep in mind, I'm on a tour, like we have been going on to Sanibel. We've been going on to some of the local beaches. If you take a tour, you could very well increase your chances of finding great shells. And like I said in the beginning, I go with SWFL Shell Guide. I will put her information into the description box below, but that is her website. If you're thinking about, look, shelling is not guaranteed. It's not. We did happen to get lucky, and I do feel like tours might increase your chances of finding the good stuff. All right, we have a fantastic concentration of shells here. All right, that's just a piece. And I will encourage you to kick those pieces over. I mean, be curious. Sometimes it pays off. Here we have another. That's a little bit worse for wear, calico scallop. There is another, well, not necessarily worse for wear, just a little bit green. Visibility is kind of getting a little tougher at this point. I suspect the tide is coming back in. We'll look at the water's edge, and here we have another one of those top snails and a couple of those augers. Wonderful. Yep, look like a big fat olive. Oh, it's lovely. I was trying to determine what was going on with the surface there, but another really great big fat lettered olive. And a little horse conch. So that is the Florida State shell, the little horse conch. And another, yep, that is a run-of-the-mill fighting conch. It's okay, and I can't, all right, I'll try to explain the method to my madness. This one's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. Some of the knobs are broken, so I would not collect that. Let's see this one. Yeah, this one's fine. You know, it's okay. It's in, you know, relatively good shape. It's got a little bit of green. Green doesn't bother me at all. It's really more about the shape and the color. So that one's okay. But this one, see, now that is absolutely gorgeous. It's got that really orange tangerine undertones. I know it's going to clean up. It's got all its knobs on it. So I don't know if you can see it. First two were meh. That third one, awesome fighting conch. And another little top snail. Oh yeah, just a piece. It's about half of a Florida fighting conch. I'm sorry, a Florida horse conch rather. That is a spotted slipper snail. So we got a spotted slipper and a top snail. Oh, is it going to be whole? Why, yes, it is. We have here another banded tulip. Much tougher to find up in the Sanibel area, but I'm telling you, down in the Marco area, really easy to find those banded tulips. Ooh, this looks promising. Oh, so pretty. So that's another one of those fighting conchs with fantastic coloring. I kind of go a little overboard with those. This is a Dulcinea. And I believe this is an elegant Dulcinea because you can kind of see the ridges on there versus the disc Dulcinea where you really can't see the ridges. They look almost identical otherwise. Wow, that is pretty. That is super cool. So that is just your Sunray Venus clam, but it's kind of got yellow undertones. I'm loving the way that those stripes were. Really pretty. And I told you before, I don't always show you, but I do push over pieces of all sorts of shells. And I encourage you to do that because every once in a while, the rest of the shell is attached. Yay! So that's a really decent size lightning whelk. I like, it's got great color, nice size. It was half buried. You know, it was one of those things I could have assumed it was just a piece, but this time I got the whole shell. So super happy with that lightning whelk. Oh, very pretty bay scallop. It is very similar in shape to the calico scallop, but again, with that reddish orange color. I know that that is a bay scallop and that this is a calico scallop. And then there are also rough scallops. I don't think we have found any of those today. We are just finding the calico and the bay scallop. So that island in the distance, that was Kais, and at some point we will be heading back there. We are, like I had said earlier, we're on Dickman's. It's just a little bit to the north of Kais Island and really the whole 10,000 island system. This area is, one, hard to get to. You're going to need yourself a kayak, a boat, or some way to get over here. And two, the shelling is traditionally pretty darn good. So this is a really fun area to go exploring. Here is another lovely fat lettered olive. Terrific. Awesome. What do we got here? Oh, yes! Watch this. Yeah, that was a little fist pump. Yeah, I was so happy. I was really, really looking for an alphabet cone, and that little, I was like, yeah, I did it. I found it. Super happy. I just wanted to check that box off. So I did, and I found that alphabet cone. So everything else is gravy. Wow. Big fat gravy looking nutmeg. So that is another really great size nutmeg. Fantastic. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. Another one of those juvenile fighting conchs that just has the prettiest colors and patterns. Love it. And a scallop. Now this scallop I actually think is the top of a flat. Either the zigzag or the round ribbed, because it's just shaped, it's not shaped like the bay or the calico. So I'm thinking that's what that particular scallop is. Now I've been having my head down for a while. I think it's time to pick my head up and enjoy some beach time. So I do have to admit, I'm pretty darn happy right about now. Just the weather is great. The shells are everywhere. We're about to say hi to this critter. So this is a live lightning whelk. That black that we can kind of see on the bottom underneath there, that's called its foot. And then the little, for lack of a better term, the head is coming out that skinny part there. So that is a live lightning whelk. We're just going to leave that beautiful creature do its thing right at the edge of the Gulf of Mexico. Another critter. So this is a short spine sea star kind of floating around. Okay, at this point, I'm going to head back over to where I will meet the other members of this fine shell tour. It was a gorgeous night, and we came at night because it was the negative low tide. I typically prefer to go in the mornings, but you're going to have a better chance if you go in the afternoon. All right, something caught my attention. Oh, I saw the shape of that chestnut turban. Now, it is broken, but I did see that the kind of that opening, and that distracted me very easily. I'm like Doug in that movie Up, like Squirrel. If I see shell, I just kind of get distracted. So it was super fun. It really was way better than I expected it to be. And so I'm still really having a great time. Here we have a ribbed cantharus. Terrific. We found such a great variety today. So that is a ribbed cantharus. Okay, this we have found today. That is another one of those real lovely bright orange Florida horse conchs. Fantastic. Look at that. All right, so that is a Sunray Venus clam that just had the coolest coloring. And I'm trying to show you the whole thing is shiny, so it's not bleached out weird. It just really is that weird coloring, which I really like. Wow. Look at that, just sitting there. So that is a colorful moon snail, also known as a gaudy nonica. Absolutely beautiful color on that. And I want to show you one of those imposters. So that is a fly speck seraph, and that little shell can look a lot like a Wentel trap. However, it is not. If you know the difference, you just know. So that's another top snail, complete with some beach stuff on it. I'm also going to clean that shell up. So hang around to the end of the video. I'll show you how that little shell cleans up without beach stuff on it. Oh, gorgeous auger. Look at that. Like a purplish, oh, fantastic. A blue, gorgeous, gorgeous auger. And another couple of they're small, but they're mighty. So we have another auger, we have a bubble, we have a lace murex, and then two of the Florida fighting conchs. So fantastic little shells in addition to the other shells. So just all in all, it's been a great day. We have here a little jasper cone. So we have not found one of these today. This has great coloring. They usually are about that size and that shape. So it is a little broken, but if you find a shell about that size and shape, you're probably looking at a jasper cone. Is it a keeper? All right, so we got a moon snail here. Oh, all right. ever so slightly broken, but I'm going to hold on to that. I'm having a hard time finding those moon snails lately. And here we have some jingles, just some gray, gorgeous jingles. Again, just taking, and so there's the sun. You can, the sunset, it could be hit or miss. Could be hit or miss, but it is winding down. It is about time for us to paddle back off the island, but I couldn't resist taking this. I know it's a little bit on the green side, so I'm going to clean this up too, but it was kind of spiky. So that is a spiny jewel box. I'm going to hold on to that weird green little shell. And then we saw one of these birds 2 weeks ago at Bunch, that reddish egret. Remember, they do all that dancing and hopping and flopping around when they're hunting. So those you can visually tell, even if they're kind of like down the beach, you're looking at a reddish egret. So we got to see another little critter. And it was just an absolute delight to be out here. Thank you for allowing me to bring you with me to the beach. So all the fun things we did get a bunch of those sand dollars, which was really awesome, as well as those lace murex. We did get a couple of those angel wings. We're going to clean those up. Some banded tulips, the arcs, the lightning whelks, a couple of those giant Atlantic cockles, some of the real pretty colored scallops. So we did get a bunch of scallops, the calico clams. We did get that one spiny jewel box, the Florida fighting conchs, the little ones, the big ones, I think maybe a milk conch. And then we have some of those nutmegs, the lettered olives. Some of those were really fantastic. I did go bananas with the Sunray Venus clams. That is not all of them. I got a bunch more. And a bunch of augers, the top snails, the Florida cones. I see another murex in there. And then moving over here, we got the Florida horse conchs, as well as the alphabet cone, which is super cool, that Gaudy Nautica, and that bigger lightning whelk. So it just was so fun. It really was a lot more than I expected. That alphabet cone, I can't believe I actually found it. So that was just a really great day all around. Got to see a bunch of great stuff. Weather was perfect. Did manage to hold on to that little piece of lightning whelk. I did. I swear I heard you guys yelling at me, so I decided to hold on to it. Now, I told you we're going to look at a couple of these shells. So remember that kind of crusty top snail? Those are very easy to clean up. I know it kind of looks intimidating, that beach stuff, but it really does pop right off. So you just need a little bit of bleach, and that's it. That's it. A little bit of bleach. I have a little dental pick, and that beach stuff pops right off. And here's a couple of those other goodies. So there is that big broken angel wing. I couldn't help it. It did clean up pretty good. I'm just going to hold on to it. I'll figure something out. And that one cleaned up good too. It is cracked. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I do like cleaning the shells. I like a nice little project from time to time. And so here's some of the other shells that were either a little bit beat up. That was that Florida horse conch. Cleaned up okay. It's fine. This one though, wow. So yeah, that one cleaned up really fantastic. So that's just your Florida fighting conch, but it is gorgeous. And there's the milk conch, or what I think is most of a milk conch. So that's still, I know it's broken, but I'm going to hold on to that until I can find one that I can maybe replace that with. So again, taking that tour was totally worth it. Super duper fun. And I thank you all for coming along with me. A big special shout out to my Patreons who monetarily support me and help me go out and pay for things like this. I really, 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 really do appreciate you. And everybody else, thank you so very much for coming along with me. Next week is actually going to be pretty good too. We're going to head over to Fort Myers Beach, the very first beach that I fell in love with. So you have yourself a great week, and I will see you again next Sunday.